It's David Ducker coming back at you, and today we're going to be talking about blow-off points, safety valves, optional endings to your campaign. In the very first campaign that I ever ran, I had my long arc planned, and I thought it would take a year, but just in case it didn't take a year to run, just in case people were leaving, we had to cut it short, took longer than I expected, I built in several safety valves. This could be the end. That could be the end. Um, this is something that I got from one of my favorite television programs, Babylon 5. Not 4, but 5. Babylon 5 was supposed to be for 5 seasons on television. Just in case it didn't make it, the writer, the showrunner, had an ending in mind for each season. If it ends in season 2, we'll do this. If it ends in season 3, we'll do that. He also had alternate characters too. He had the captain and the first officer, and he said if we lose the actor who is the captain, we'll promote the first officer and we'll get a new first officer in under her. So the showrunner, J. Michael Straczynski, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, Straczynski, was a huge influence on me. He ran that show like I want to GM my game. He had great characters. He had backup characters. He had great stories. He had an overarching story, but he had blow-off points if we need to end it. At the Narn War, at the Vorlon War, if we need to end it at the Earth Civil War, if we need to end, wherever we need to end it, if suddenly we go belly up, we've got a safety valve just in case. So I want to encourage everybody to build in their safety valve. Have your first act, and if it ends in the first act, that's cool. Have your second act. If it ends in the second act, have a way to make that work out for you as well. Don't be afraid to call it quits early. In my case, I was getting used to pacing. I thought it would take a year. We ran for 2 years and we were only at the end of the first act, so I used the very first safety valve. Could we have run longer? Yes, but I was very happy to end it. We were losing players and we were too deep for new players to come in. We were losing them because they were moving away. They had family commitments, work commitments, real life things, not because of in-game reasons that we were losing them for. But we were losing them, and this setting was so rich and detailed that a new guy would be completely lost. It would take him forever to get caught up. So we decided to hit that first blow-off point instead. And now I know more about pacing, so I can estimate more easily how long a campaign will actually run for, or should be running for. But so this is something that you'll need to ponder on your own to be able to have each act be very episodic, independent, each arc be self-contained to some degree. Whether it's you have the mini boss and he becomes the real boss, or you have a battle plan and it ends up being the last battle instead of the first battle. Whatever it is, it's going to be very campaign specific, but I want you to think about this because it could save you. If someone says, I'm moving away, I've only got 3 more sessions, then you can end it. You've planned for this. If they're just burned out on the system, if you're using Pathfinder and it sucks, I'm sorry for all you Pathfinders out there, but Pathfinder can cause major headaches. And this was our first campaign was Pathfinder as well, so I knew those headaches. That was not a big reason why we ended the game, because we could deal with Pathfinder, but some people can't. So it'll be very dependent on your story, your setting, your unified theme, where your blow-off points are, what they are. Is it a trade compact? Is it a religious convocation? Is it a diplomatic summit? Whatever it is, just be able to be self-contained with it, to compartmentalize your plot arcs. So maybe I'll give our example is it was supposed to be basically a civil war, and we're going to have the first battle where you realize the full strength of the rebels. They're a lot tougher than the Pharaoh thought that they were. This was an Egyptian campaign. And then we were going to have the second big battle where the rebels got even stronger. So they went from being like really, really strong, like a major threat, to being an overpowering threat. And then the last battle would be like, can the Pharaoh and his army even survive? And of course, depending on the players, there was an army of golems they could find. They could raise up an army of ghosts. They could have, found a dragon to mount. Dragons are the great equalizer, or a phoenix, or any number of things they could have done. They could have switched some people over to their side, because the rebels had all these mini factions collating together. So you could have switched someone over to their side. But that was my basic arc, was we'll reveal them, make them even badder than they were before in the middle act, and then the final battle. As it turned out running, we had our first battle, so they were even more badass than we thought that they were. And by the time we're at the middle, our player base is shrinking, and it's too late to intro new players. We had like 20 different factions. We had like 400 NPCs. We'd been gaming for 2 years at that point. And, they'd been doing a lot of side quests and just not hitting the main quest. And my ability to pace that and design the team was weak because it was my first campaign I was GMing. So I decided, okay, let's have the big battle. The second battle, instead of that making it look like they're overpowering, we'll just say, like, if they really are this overpowering, they just win, and we'll narrate the last battle maybe, if anyone survives, and we'll really push this as being important, pull out all the stops. And, it was quite excellent. It was 4 sessions of this one battle. So it was, and those were like 6-hour sessions. It was like 24 hours of battle. We had 100 NPCs get killed during the course of that battle, so that was great. But, if I hadn't had that blow-off point, if I tried to stick to my guns or compress it somehow, that would have caused a lot of problems. Our most recent campaign, we did have to narrate a little bit. I was telling everybody, like, we had probably the first 2 acts. We had to almost skip the third act and just cut right to the battle at the end. And that third act, that could have been a whole year. And we ended up doing it in like a month because of time constraints. People were getting married. Again, it was too late to intro new people. I think at that campaign we had 300 NPCs spread out over 20 factions. A little smaller than the first campaign, still quite large. New players would have been a little bit lost, and we didn't have a whole bunch of new players all at once lined up anyway. If we did, maybe we would have taken that and made it its own, its own deal, its own little campaign almost, if they're coming in at that point, and we just know more of the backstory than they do. So for that one, I didn't have the blow off, so we had to skip through the last plot arc in 4 sessions in a month. And it worked out fine because our players were strong, we're really good at narrating, at montaging, picking and choosing our scenes, using our time effectively. So for higher level players, you can break and bend some of the rules. But if you're just starting out, if your players are very new, I would definitely recommend build these safety valves in. If we end at the first arc, that's fine. Second arc, that's fine. Don't be overcommitted to the ending that you have in mind. Make sure you have it lined up. And of course, as I said, also have backup NPCs, but that's a different video that I've already done, in fact, my political web video a gimmick of time ago. So I just wanted to kind of share again the concept of safety valves, of if we need to end the campaign in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, do you have that in the back of your head that we could? Have you designed the game to be modular enough to do that? Um, I've done this video before. Hopefully this is more succinct, shorter, easier to understand. That one didn't get a lot of views, and it's a fairly important concept in my opinion. So hopefully we can share the love and share the message, and share a message below. Let me know what you think of the safety valves. When has it worked for you? When has it not worked for you? How do you do it? You have better advice than I do. Please share it with me, and maybe if I do this video, if I do this video once every 2 years, then in 2018 I'll be posting it up again with better advice. So until I see you again, good day and good gaming.